Welcome to the Squared Circle Jerks podcast. I'm your host, Mike, and my co-host, Byron.
Hello.
And if your mind went to a dirty, dirty place hearing the name of our podcast, that probably means you're slightly normal, and but at the same time devious and deviant. And we appreciate you for who you are.
That's what we appreciate about you.
That is what we appreciate about you. So, Byron, how's the week been?
My cat's got the diabetes.
That's not good.
No. So I'm going to expound, so you're not going to be able to stop me. You're going to have to edit if you don't want us on here.
That's fine.
Basically, my cat got diagnosed with diabetes a couple weeks ago. We've been treating her with insulin and giving her less food. And by we, I mean me. Insulin injections twice a day. Yeah, yesterday I took her in for what they do called a glucose curve. So I gave her medicine and food first thing in the morning, and then they measure her blood sugar the entire day. Well, it turns out it's still way too high. So now we're doing more insulin and less food, and she's not happy about the food thing. But the good news is it's been 24 hours since she peed on the floor. So, I mean, I think we're moving in the right direction.
That's positive. I mean, it's better than my current issue with my roommate's dog, who keeps going after the garbage.
Well, that's an easy fix. You just put a shotgun trap in the garbage.
I'm not allowed to do that. I suggested that. They didn't let me. I have basically hid the garbage now in our bathroom and closed the door, so she can't get at it.
I suppose that's an option.
There's some food in the garbage. That's the problem. There's like a little bit of chicken, and she keeps going. She's like, there's chicken in here somewhere, and I'm gonna get it. But she hasn't got it yet, despite 3 times tipping over the garbage can. Proving once and for all that dogs are not that bright.
They can be, but apparently not always the case.
Alright, so I'm going to assume that you did not watch Raw and SmackDown, and once again I'm trying to sell you on it.
I did not watch Raw and SmackDown.
Okay.
So I heard that Raw was a shit sandwich full of Asperger's, and I'm not talking the mental disorder.
To be honest, I would say SmackDown was the worst of the 2 shows.
How is that even possible?
Well, Raw had some things that I think people should actually watch. The Roman Reigns, to be clear, I'm not recommending watching the show. I'm recommending hunting down on YouTube and getting the Roman Reigns promo. He does a really good job. Not face-to-face with John Cena, because John Cena was not there. And he spoke the truth. We talked about last week how we didn't like the fact that, he was saying Big Match John doesn't have great matches, and I sell tickets, and business is good when business is actually terrible on a ticket sale point of view. For those of you who were unaware, the Raw in which he was cutting that promo had a whopping 7,000 people in attendance paid.
Ooh.
For I've looked now. I don't have a wrestling figure for the arena they were in, because no one gives a wrestling figure, and the wrestling figure is always smaller. So it is smaller than the number I'm about to quote.
Okay. But
the quoted number is 16,000. So you have a 16,000 seat arena with 7,000 people in it, and you have your big babyface cutting a promo about how ticket sales are good.
Yeah, that's clearly not the case.
Yeah. So this week
it's time to queue up some sexy boy and go to town.
Yeah. This week he actually went with the truth. He talked about John Cena being a Hollywood guy, which is true. He's trying to get into Hollywood. Yep. He brought up a promo that John Cena cut on The Rock, basically saying, "I will be here. I will not go to Hollywood," and that's kind of exactly what John Cena is doing. So he went with the hypocrite John Cena, and John Cena buries people, bringing up Alex Riley as a specific example.
Yeah, to be fair, I don't think John Cena's buried anybody in years. Like, for sure it has happened, absolutely, but it's been a long time.
True. I'm just saying is that you're taking a flaw in John Cena's character and you're actually expounding upon it, as opposed to just bold-faced lying to me. I appreciate that.
Yeah, fair enough.
So yeah, I enjoyed this promo, although he is still very over-reliant on saying bitch. So someone get this guy a thesaurus for some synonyms for bitch.
Yeah, that would be good.
So that's the downfall. Okay, aside from that, I'm just gonna breeze through the rest of this, because there's nothing god-awful terrible, but there's nothing good. Miz and Angle did some stuff about how Miz is going to be a better father than Angle, which would kind of make sense, because by all accounts, Angle's not been a very good father. We had a match between Alexa Bliss and Nia Jax, which wound up being
I
a
heard that was
3 on
fucking garbage.
which wound up being, well, the match itself was fine. It's just that it ended up being a 3-on-1 where the heel gets beat up by the 3 smaller girls. Because Bayley returned and Boss Sasha Banks is out there. And then they 2v1 Bliss. And it's like, they went from Bayley being cheered, because come back in her hometown, big pop, to getting booed. In the span of 5 minutes, maybe?
Oh boy.
So, continuing to fail. They had a bar promo from Cesaro and Sheamus, which I enjoyed the delivery, but not the content, because the content, honestly, it goes back to the Roman Reigns just boldly lying to me, because Sheamus and Cesaro are basically talking about how Rollins and Ambrose can't stand each other, they will break apart when things get rough, etc. Mm-hmm. They're describing their own team, though, because when they formed this team, Sheamus and Cesaro could not stand each other and were supposed to break apart as soon as things got rough. So, you did it. Why can't Rollins and Ambrose?
Yeah, I think I was briefly listening to some Steven Larson, and they mentioned something very much about that, about how it's blatantly obvious, and they'll probably be breaking up right after the pay-per-view or some shit like that.
If you took this material and gave it to, let's say, Carl Anderson and Luke Gallows, a long-established tag team specialists, if you would, it would make a lot more sense. But, you know what? The bar is getting a push. I'm happy with that, I guess.
Yeah, fair enough.
We had a three-way tag match between the Bar, the Club, and the Shield. Was fine, nothing great. Kurt Hawkins lost his 115th match in a row to Titus Worldwide's Apollo Crews.
Whoa, boy!
So, you know, Titus Brand getting a push is good. Bray Wyatt had a match with Dustin Rhodes, which was the weirdest match of the week, because they let, and note I said Dustin Rhodes and not Gold Dust.
Yeah, I saw some images of him, no face paint, just in the bodysuit.
I don't know why he had the bodysuit. That kind of puzzles me.
Yeah, it's a bit weird.
Because if you're not Gold Dust, then ditch the bodysuit. Because just like get some cowboy getup or something, or hell, just some trunks. Anyways, it was weird because they let Dustin Rhodes get a lot of offense in, and then just randomly end up in his Sister Abigail. That's freaking. Right. Shit finish.
I mean, I guess they're putting over the impact or the suddenness of the move itself, maybe?
No, my problem is he literally just like ran into the move. Like it wasn't even like an RKO out of nowhere. It was, I'm gonna stand here and you're gonna Sister Abigail me.
Okay. I guess that's a thing you could do.
And then we have the second best thing on the show, Finn Balor's promo, which I enjoyed. He cut a promo. The gist of the promo was, you say that I need the face paint to beat you. I need the demon to beat you. I'm just a man. And then he's like, I'm going to tell you a story about a boy who used to read a lot of books about demons and knights and monsters. And he created a demon. So what is more dangerous, the demon or the man who created the demon? Which is interesting.
Yeah, but the demon's more powerful, though.
I know, that's the one problem with it. But I assume that means we're going to get Bray Wyatt versus Finn Balor, and Balor's not going to wear the face paint?
Yeah,
I guess. Third best thing on the night, and you'll laugh at this. I've already told you this, so it spoils it, but Enzo's walking around backstage, being Enzo, and Corey Graves is like, Enzo is a certified G and a bona fide stud, but he's also a certified ham and egger. So thank you, Corey Graves. Larry Sweetie is proud.
Indeed.
Braun Strowman destroyed Enzo, left him for Neville. Neville had a okay match with Grand Metalik, which is really sad because it's Neville and Grand Metalik. Neville went after Grand Metalik's mask, so Lucha Underground called it, wants its gimmick back.
Yeah.
Then we had a six-pack challenge, because earlier in the night, Kurt Angle had announced that the Hardys, Elias... We keep calling him Elias Sampson. They're calling him just Elias at this point, but for some reason, Elias Sampson sounds better than me.
I believe I will still refer to him as Elias Sampson, baby.
There you go. And Jason Jordan were going to have a four-way match, winner faces Miz at the pay-per-view. And The Miz basically threw a stink and got Curtis Axel and Bo Dallas thrown in there as well. So it becomes a six-pack challenge. You know what? I'm not a big fan of six-pack challenges. They tend to, largely lead to no one getting over, really. But this one was fine. There was a good Tower of Doom spot. Jason Jordan's Northern Lights suplexes are awesome!
I've been told that his suplexes are a thing to watch.
Yeah! Especially the Northern Lights one, but all of them are pretty good. But the Northern Lights one's particularly good, as well as the he catches people on cross bodies and suplexes them as well, which is pretty cool. I think in the midway through this match, I think Jeff Hardy may legitimately have injured his shoulder the way he was selling it.
Nah.
No, because he was selling it after no one had done anything to his shoulder. There was no move to precipitate this, so I think Jeff Hardy may legitimately have fucked his shoulder.
Alright.
Miz stops Jeff Hardy from pinning Axel, but this just ends up with Jason Jordan pinning Axel, so it's going to be Jason Jordan versus The Miz. Miz Taraj beats up Jason Jordan afterwards. This storyline between Jason Jordan, Kurt Angle, and Miz continues. It's bad.
That's the thing.
I would prefer to see Jason Jordan doing other things and having really good matches, because both you and I are not a fan of The Miz in the ring. And I'm not a fan of Jason Jordan's character, so, if he's not going to have a great match, what is the point?
Well, after we're done discussing all the current WWE, we could probably discuss... What's the name of the Backlash? Are they doing Backlash again? Is it the fourth Backlash of the year or something?
No Mercy.
Oh yeah, No Backlash.
I like No Mercy actually as a name for a pay-per-view. Also had, honestly, it had probably the best in-house produced theme for a pay-per-view. This was back a decade ago. The main event was Kurt Angle versus JBL versus Big Show for the title. And they had this No Mercy theme. The song was just No Mercy. It was really, really good. So I think I'm permanently a fan of No Mercy at this point. So shall we move on to SmackDown?
Let's shall. I hear that there were things and maybe some stuff, but no fashion police, so it's not worth watching.
There were no fashion police. There is nothing worth watching on this show.
Fair enough.
We open up with a Shane McMahon promo, which, let's put it this way, this was the highlight of the show, and that's not good. We're getting Kevin Owens, Shane McMahon, Hell in a Cell. There you go. That's the short end of it. Randy Orton took on Aiden English. Semi-competitive squash match. He gets the RKO for the pin. Rusev comes out, cuts a pretty decent promo, actually. Gets Orton to agree to a match. English distracts Orton. Rusev Savat kicks him. Kind of gets revenge for his 10 seconds destruction at the pay-per-view.
Yeah.
Jinder Mahal cut a very racist promo. I did not mind last week, and a lot of people have asked me why I don't mind. Because I didn't find last week to be tremendously racist in itself. Because I'm going to say something kind of non-hardcore wrestling fan. Shinsuke Nakamura makes some weird faces when he's in the ring. I think we can agree. I think we can agree with that.
Yep.
And basically, last week Jinder Mahal was kind of making fun of that. There were some racist things with Godzilla and the Pikachu references. Although the Pikachu reference was actually kind of funny. But this week it was, this is his sad face. This is his determined face. This is his angry face. You all look the same. And I'm like, we have at this point gone too far.
I hear that the crowd was chanting exactly that.
Yeah, after he made a Mr. Miyagi reference, yeah. Also, nothing here was funny.
Just because you're comparing a Hawaiian American guy against a Japanese guy, there's no reason to assume there's any racism whatsoever.
Yeah, the thing is two parts. One, they have gone full racist with these promos, and two, they're not funny. Last week, I had a couple laughs. It was low percentage funny, don't get me wrong, and very low, very Vince McMahon humor. But Jinder seemed to be having a level of fun with it and going with it. And it wasn't as racist as this week. This week, much more racist, made me laugh at no point.
Oh, well, that's just, if it's uncomfortable, it's not good. If it's funny, it's funny.
AJ Styles and Baron Corbin kind of had a match, but Ty Dillinger jumped Baron Corbin from behind, injured him, and AJ locked him in a calf crusher.
No, I'm fine with that.
I'm really not, because, like, who the hell was supposed to get over this? Like, Dillinger didn't. AJ didn't.
You're supposed to get the faces over for bullying the bully, but it didn't obviously work.
No one really got over on this. Like, I'm just convinced that this is just more Baron Corbin punishment. Like,
could be. They seem to be really willing to throw away any kind of, money. You could boil it all the way down to money at this point. They're willing to throw away probably hundreds of thousands, if not tens of millions of dollars on merchandise sales or potential ticket sales or any kind of anything just to punish a guy. Like, they're punishing Enzo because he's a dick, apparently, when somebody should just take him to the aside and say, listen, young man, this is the this and that's the that. Shawn Michaels should just go sit down with him and fucking talk to him. We probably should have done that a year ago.
It's probably the best option.
Rather than do that, they broke up Cass and Enzo. They spent, what is it now, like a month, 2 months, just kind of jobbing Enzo out, even though he's getting the most ratings that 205 Live's ever seen.
Well, I mean, they're pushing him, but they're pushing him without pushing him.
Yeah. They don't have a choice. He's fucking over.
They're just giving him, like, dirty wins, and it's like, he's
actually enjoying this.
He's Eddie Guerrero without any semblance of the in-ring talent.
Yeah, which, I mean, I'm actually enjoying this new kind of twist to his character. So, I mean, there's that. But they're willing to throw away all kinds of money. Like, why would they bother ever? Like, you don't know how many Ty Dillinger little weird cape things they could sell, but they can't be bothered to even put them on TV.
Yeah. Well, he's been on TV the last couple of weeks, but he's losing and getting... Yeah. He looks inferior to AJ Styles, which is fine, because AJ Styles is amazing. But he also looks inferior to Baron Corbin. And here he is like, I got my one-up on Baron Corbin. You got your one-up by chop blocking him from behind and injuring his leg.
Yeah. Also, where's Mike Kanellis? Has he been cut already? Is he already back?
He's apparently doing some kind of rehab thing.
For the chemical substance abuse there?
Yeah.
Yeah, fair enough.
So that's fair enough. But yeah, Mike Kanellis is a guy who I don't even understand why they signed. Well, I do. I think they just wanted Maria.
Could be, but I mean, why don't they just have him be Miracle Mike Bennett, whose character I am wholly unfamiliar with, I will grant you, but that's all I ever hear. Oh, you should watch this guy, Mike Bennett. Mike Bennett's fucking amazing. Holy shit, Mike Bennett.
I wouldn't go as far as to say he's fucking amazing, but like he's a competent wrestler who can cut a pretty decent promo. And instead, they've turned him into... I don't know what he's supposed to... Apparently, he was a Hallmark manager that Maria met and married. That's the storyline here. So, I don't... He's the male equivalent of Peyton Royce and Billie Kay at this point. Where, like, we've talked about them being like, I don't understand why your character is here. I don't understand why Mike Bennett's character is here.
Yeah, fair enough.
Like... you went from a Hallmark manager to a pro wrestler, apparently. Okay. I don't think that really works.
Not especially well, no.
Then we had Charlotte cutting a good promo that ended up being a shit show because we had to have Natty come out here. And Becky. And Naomi. And Tamina. And although, mind you, Tamina brought with her Lana, and my pants got very uncomfortable.
Wow. I don't understand why they ever bother doing anything with any single female on that roster ever, because the entire female roster is always in the ring together at all times. Just bring them all out. Give them one theme song for the entire roster, and just make them walk around together all the time. Yeah. And then you won't have to bother. You won't waste my time with everybody's goddamn entrances. Listen, you've only got 2 hours, and you're trying to play me 6 hours of theme songs. Remove all of their identities and gimmicks. They are collectively will be known as the women's division. One theme song. They can, just be this traveling wrestling ball of fury. And I guess they will be like the hive mind from Rick and Morty.
And the sad thing is, like, all of these girls have some money in them. I am a big fan of Natalya. I'm a big fan of Becky Lynch. I'm a big fan of Charlotte. Those are 3 fantastic female workers. I am not a fan of Naomi, but there are apparently a segment of the population that are fans of Naomi. So there's money there. Tamina could be, a big kind of monster powerhouse. Changes directions of matches and stuff. And Lana is, I'm still not really convinced if she's money in the ring, but as a manager, she's money. Just put her back with Rusev, please.
Yeah.
And, anyways, Daniel Bryan comes out. We're going to get a 4-way for the main event. Winner gets a shot at Natty at the pay-per-view. Or, I think it was the pay-per-view, yeah.
Which one? Aren't they having like 6 of them?
You've got No Mercy for Raw, and you've got Hell in a Cell for SmackDown.
Oh.
Then we had the Hype Bros versus the New Day. This was a serviceable match, but the Hype Bros are completely wasted right now, which is kind of like the SmackDown tag team division since its inception. You had American Alpha, who were completely wasted. You have the Hype Bros, who are completely wasted. And you have the Fashion Police, who are completely wasted, despite all of those teams being kind of over.
I would like to point out the fact that I am not completely wasted because it's not even noon yet.
Well, it's past noon for me, but yes. Then we had Kevin Owens do a satellite promo. It was fine. He apologized to everyone and then promptly blamed Shane McMahon for his assault on Vince McMahon.
That sounds fair.
Mojo and Zack Ryder are backstage. Mojo says the Hype Bros need to change. He's clearly, this losing streak has got him down. He says they need something drastic. So maybe this storyline will get some progression in 4 weeks.
Maybe they will have a barbershop conversation.
Ziggler did a promo and his entrance spoofing. This time he did Triple H, HBK, DX next.
Oh, that's pretty funny.
Then we had the Fatal 4-Way. I like this Fatal 4-Way. It's probably the one part of the show I would recommend actually watching. They did a good job making Tamina look dangerous and powerful without doing what they did on Raw, which was when you had all the faces and Alexa Bliss team up to take out Nia Jax. They didn't do that here, but they made it seem like, okay, not one of these girls can necessarily take out Tamina in a power match on their own, but the faces aren't just teaming up against her. So they had a nice balance there. I like that. Highlight of the match, and by that I mean low light, was Tamina getting called Lana by Tom Phillips.
Yikes.
Nice work, Tom Phillips.
We know where your brain's at. To be fair, that's where my brain's at too.
Charlotte hit a gorgeous moonsault as per usual onto 2 girls. It's worth a watch. Charlotte gets the victory and will face off with Naomi or Natalya.
I just had Joey Ryan's new finisher occur right in my brain.
Oh,
are you ready?
I'm ready.
He will now do the poonsault.
Sleaze Driver 5000.
That also, maybe we can get him a nice big bottle of Sleazevitz.
So the main event is worth watching. Nothing else on SmackDown is worth watching. Okay, lead us through 205 Live.
It was alright.
Requires something more than that. The people want more.
Honestly, there was a bunch of stuff on here that was pretty much par for the course. The Cedric Alexander Brian Kendrick match was just another one of those matches. The last, minute was pretty damn good, but other than that, it was...
I actually rather liked this match. It was a little bit different from his standard C, and, that being said, if Kendrick and Alexander they just said, all right, you two, work out your match, it probably would be 100 times better.
Yeah, tons better. It's just kind of, that's Cedric's WWE match, and that's Brian Kendrick's WWE match, and that's all it was. There was a few, differences. There was a few changes that they don't usually do. Nothing you can really hang your hat on. And then the last minute was pretty interesting. It was, if the last minute could have been the whole match, it would have been a fucking awesome match.
Also, R.I.P. Gentleman Jack Gallagher, because now we have Psycho Jack Gallagher.
Ooh, hey, he's still a gentleman. He's just chaotic, or he's lawful evil now instead of lawful good.
I don't know about that.
Well, maybe not, because, no, he's playing by the rules as far as the Rule Breakers Convention is concerned.
Oh, speaking of the Rules Breaker Convention, I need you should watch the fight with Shinzo Anzai from the fight card last night.
Oh, yeah?
He looks like Gato. Right down to the beard.
Player.
He's like a Harrier Gato.
That's amazing.
Drew Gulak joined commentary for Tozawa versus Noam Dar, which was fine.
Sir, his name is actually Stu Garlic.
I'm fine with it. I liked Gulak on commentary, but this match was Noam Dar's WWE match, and that's not good.
No, actually, I wasn't really a big fan of Gulak. Well, I'm conflicted. Here's the deal. Because he did stupid heel WWE stuff, where he just insults the face commentator, he sucks the dick of the heel commentator, but then, like, part of the time he was actually commentating, and actually had his brain working, so I don't understand why he couldn't just do that.
I'm against the delusional heel when it makes no sense, but it kind of makes sense in this case, because basically he's a politician. Drew Gulak is a spoof on every politician in existence, and they are delusional, and they do contradict themselves in public, and they do all of these things. So it actually works. But please don't have anyone else do it. What do you think about the Rich Swann TJP? Are you happy that they're continuing this feud?
Kinda. Again, it's sort of conflicting because the matches are getting to be good, but the storyline still doesn't make any, like, yeah, sure, TJP is jealous, and Rich Swann is kind of a guy who is kind of around and is sort of funky and disco, but it's not really going anywhere other than the new, like, this particular development where TJP seems to be more of a malicious son of a bitch, which I'm sort of fine with, because he needs to sort of develop his character a little bit more. Well, he needs to continue to develop his character, but I'm kind of on the fence. It needs to do something to kind of wow me and hook me back in, because I was with it before, but now it's really run its course, and it hasn't been going on that long.
I'm thinking that this may be finally that, because I think at this point TJP is the undeniable heel of the feud. So you can do more storytelling in the matches and probably take them to the next level. So I'm happy with that. Also, I don't trust them to do anything else good with these guys. So that's kind of the problem. And hey, we were so anti the Kendrick Gentleman Jack storyline that that's actually starting to pay off. So
yeah, totally. I'm liking the way that Jack's clearly the best part of the entire show. So I'm good with him continuing to do this new thing that he is doing. I like it. I liked what he was doing before, so maybe I just like whatever Jack does.
That's probably part of the problem, or part of it, I should say. I was denied a Lince Dorado match on this card.
Correct.
I'm angry.
He did get some screen time. Maybe he gets $50 extra for that.
Got some screen time, but no match. I'm a Lince Dorado nut hugger. Come on, give him and Grand Metalik more time.
Mm-hmm.
Let them have matches. Fuck. Anyways, then we had Neville and Enzo face off. I kind of liked it. Not great.
Yeah.
It just kind of boils down to Enzo. I'm popular and you're not. And Neville response being basically, I'm going to kill you. And Neville getting booted in the balls, which Enzo is the weirdest face on the roster right now. I'll just leave it at that.
Yeah. I think Neville's character is pretty much, I wouldn't say it's stale, but it's definitely not developing any further. I don't know if there's a reason for that, or if he's just, well, obviously it's just the wobbly bee who's only doing the same thing over and over again anyway.
It's also the thing where it's like, what is he supposed to develop? Like, when you have the belt and it's working, like, that's why when Akira Tozawa took the belt off him, I wanted that to last a lot longer, because that would have pushed development on Neville's character.
Mm-hmm.
But he got it right back. So what was the point?
Pretty much.
Anyways, NXT. I really enjoyed NXT. Let's finish up with this on a high note.
Fair enough.
So we opened up with Johnny Gargano versus Tino Sabbatelli. I thought this match did everything it was supposed to do. Like, it is not on the Johnny Gargano highlight reel. He has much better matches than this. But you got to sell the fact that Tino Sabbatelli is a fantastic athlete and has a lot of promise, which are both true because this guy is a legitimate NFL player, as opposed to your Baron Corbins and your Mojo Rawleys, who were practice roster, off-season guys. Athletic, don't get me wrong, and for big men, very athletic. But Sabbatelli, number one, played a non-big man position in the NFL, so I think his athleticism becomes even that more impressive. Because he's not athletic for a 300-pound dude. He's athletic for any weight. And he was this is a guy who clearly also loves wrestling, because he wouldn't be doing this if he didn't love wrestling. So
yeah,
I'm intrigued to see him go further.
Yeah, that was my speculation last week, because I couldn't remember which one of those two dudes was the football player, and I figured they only put one of them in the program against Gargano just so that they could finally get him some sort of exposure. So they had, you got a guy worth millions of dollars. You might want to get him on fucking TV, or he'll probably just leave.
Yeah, and it also fueled this whole storyline of Gargano really doubting himself, because for a lot of this match he was getting his ass kicked.
Mm-hmm.
And he eventually got the win with the Gargano escape. So he wins. But it's definitely, I think, we're in for a reckoning where Gargano has to figure something out about himself in the post-Tommaso Ciampa era, probably leading to a feud with Ciampa. If it doesn't, I'm going to be pissed. And, this match did everything it's supposed to do. It's not necessarily one I would say go out and watch, because it's not a fantastic match, but the storytelling is very good.
I thought his match from the previous week was better. To be honest with you,
I thought this one was better because I think Riddick Moss, who's the Sabbatelli's partner, didn't really know how to. He seemed not really to know what he was doing, and Sabbatelli did.
True, but I thought that the kind of relative inexperience sort of played into a better story. But that's just me.
Could be. Roddy Strong's getting a title shot in 2 weeks. Sonya Deville cut a pretty serviceable promo, actually, but she's still absolute shite in the ring.
Yeah, the promo was serviceable, however, it's still complete garbage because it's meaningless. It doesn't...
Yeah.
Everything you're saying is great, and I totally believe it. Yeah, I'd totally believe it if it was anybody else saying it, because you are bad in the ring.
Yeah. And then we had Lacey Evans versus Bianca Belair. I thought this was a pretty good match especially when you consider how green both these girls are, because I think between them there's maybe 2.5 years of experience. They were two of the greener girls in the Mae Young Classic. They're coming along really well. I would really like to see them feud with someone who's actually really good, because I think you could see some really good stuff out of them then. Like, Bianca Belair had a match with Kairi Sane in the Mae Young Classic, which was really, really good. So, kind of the problem with NXT is you get people who are green working with people who are green, and even if you can see the potential in them, it's not leading to amazing matches. So, I think one of these girls should actually get a little bit of a push and feud with a Ruby Riott or something. Get Ruby away from the Australian bitches.
Yeah, I could see her feuding with Lacey. The matches would be okay. I did not like this match at all. I thought it was 2 steps above an Australian retard match, but that's not saying a lot. They were both very uncoordinated. It was just kind of, okay, I'm going to do 3 moves now. All right, I'm done my 3 moves. Now you get to do your 3 moves. Okay, you've got that hair thing you do. I guess you can do it there. Okay, now I'm going to do 3 really awkward moves, and that's the finish.
See, I think this comes down to is that I've seen wrestlers of that relative experience be unable to do anything in the ring. And this is above where they actually probably should be. That being said, probably shouldn't be on TV. I'm going to also throw that out there. Like, this should be a house show deal.
Yeah. I still don't get, like, you just had a lot of top female talent, I'm being told, by people, signed, and you're putting these people on TV. And I don't understand the logic there.
Yeah. I would have this doing the house shows for, I don't know, a couple months. And then promote one of them kind of to NXT and see what they can do.
Yeah.
This, again, is the problem. Like, we had this last week with the Street Profits Ely Brothers thing. I by no means believe either of those teams won't do something. But right now, they're not TV ready.
No.
Or, they're not TV ready with each other. If you want to put them in there with someone experienced, veteran, ready, maybe that could be some good things. And we'll see what happens. But, yeah, putting Green in there with Green on TV is... To me, it's a bad idea, because you've got a lot of house shows, so... That's where the green on green should be happening.
Yeah, I just don't get half the reason why they do these things. I understand that you want to try and get some people some experience, and maybe you want to put them in front of a camera to see how they react, but you don't have to put that on TV. You can edit it, it's okay.
Well, or you know what? Here's what I would do, is I would take whichever one of these girls you feel is more ready, put them with a Ruby Riott or something of that ilk on a house show. See how it goes. If it goes well, alright girls, you're going to get a TV match. But you have the TV match being, veteran ready girl with green girl, and maybe that turns into something decent.
Mm-hmm.
Because, you could have Lacey Evans wrestle Bianca Belair 5-6 times on TV, and please God don't, but it probably wouldn't necessarily get any better, because who's supposed to be learning from whom?
Yeah, it doesn't make, a lot of these just don't make any sense.
So, I thought it was good just because of how green they are, but it was in no way a TV ready match. Then we had an Aleister Black promo, talking about his journey until the Velveteen Dream interrupted, and I am not sure where I fall on this. What about you?
I wasn't sure that they'd even turned microphones on. Like, what the fuck was going on with the production? Aleister Black gets on there, he's like, 15 years ago, I'm like, what? Is it what? What?
Well, I'm ignoring for the purpose of this discussion, I'm ignoring how bad the production is.
I'm not. Yeah, that was bad. And then, it happened afterward. Like, Velveteen Dream comes down, and I can barely hear what he's saying. I can't hear his voice around the arena. I can't even tell. Like, are the audience supposed to be able to hear him? Because I can barely hear him. And the promos themselves were not good at all. And the finish to it was interesting, but I'd be more interested if Patrick Clark was a lot better in the ring.
Yeah, that's kind of the underscored thing for me, is that I would not necessarily have a problem with this program if it wasn't for the fact that I'm at the end of this. I have written in my notes here. Is it super weird to anyone else that Black goes from beating Kenta to this?
Because if they're trying to put Patrick Clark over, why are they sacrificing Aleister Black's career?
And you're sacrificing basically Velveteen Dream. He's got plenty of time. He could rebound from losing this, but I don't think the match is going to look all that good, because Alice, I know I've been saying, put green people in there with people who know what they're doing, but my thing is, you've got Aleister Black, who has kind of an eccentric style. He's not green, but the way he wrestles is not necessarily a way to for people to learn.
Yeah.
Really? Like, he's kind of like, honestly, kind of more of a kickboxer than a pro wrestler. Like, that's what it comes down to. That's why him versus Kenta is a good idea, because Kenta can work that style. A lot of Japanese wrestlers can. I have zero faith that Velveteen Dream can have a good match with Aleister Black. And we've proven that, there's something to the Velveteen Dream. We enjoyed his match with Ho Hu Loon, for example.
Mm-hmm.
So put him in there with someone who's a little more conventional. Like, honestly, I'm going to throw this out here. What about him versus Johnny Gargano and have him, like, beat Gargano and have Gargano's storyline of not really knowing his place continue through that?
Yeah, it could be a thing.
He loses to someone very green and he can probably drag Patrick Clark to a, 3-star match?
Oh, yeah.
Maybe? 2.5 at least. I don't necessarily think Aleister Black versus Patrick Clark is going to be a good match. Their promo battle was not very good, and I don't expect it to get necessarily better, because you have a guy who is pretty green at all aspects of this in Patrick Clark. You have Aleister Black, who, to my knowledge, is not really much of a talker. Like, just in general. That's his gimmick is actions speak louder than words. I'm going to kick your ass. There's not a lot of verbal skill there. Also, not a native English speaker. So, yeah. I don't like this pairing, but I'm kind of willing to see where it goes. I don't think it'll go good places.
No, I just don't. It's another one of these things I just don't understand. Like, Aleister Black was a guy that they instantly had on every single non-main roster show possible within like 3 weeks of him showing up on NXT. It looked like they were going to put him right on the main roster immediately, and now
or at least to like an NXT title or something.
Yeah, and now they're making him work with this green guy who really needs to, like, Velveteen Dream should be working with No Way Jose or somebody.
I like my Gargano idea now that I've said it, but yeah, I could dig him versus No Way Jose too.
Yeah. Speaking of No Way Jose,
we got a Dakota Kai promo. I'm excited because I like Dakota Kai. And then we had No Way Jose versus Lars Sullivan, and I enjoyed this.
Indeed, Lars Sullivan's got some powerful looking thigh muscles. I'm just gonna put that out right now.
Mm-hmm. I could do without him doing the diving headbutt, though. I'm gonna throw that out there. Diving headbutt is a bad idea to me. It's always been a bad idea.
Yeah, it was. I'm conflicted. I mean, it kind of suits his whole shenanigans. So, I mean,
it does suit him.
As far as character work, it works fine. But you got a guy who killed his wife and child who did that move, and all of his stuff has been nixed off of TV or the network.
And this is not saying you can't do what Benoit did, because I think you can do like the crippler crossface and stuff, but the diving headbutt probably directly contributed to the go Benoit yourself idea. That's it's not a good thing to do.
No, not at all.
But he gets the win over No Way Jose. I think we maybe get one more match between these two.
I would expect at least one.
And then we finished off the night with Mustache Mountain versus Red Dragon.
Indeed. There was actual tag team work in a tag team match. I couldn't believe my eyes.
That's what happens when you put good tag teams in there with each other. Like, this is the type of team that I'd like to see, like, because a lot of people are into the Street Profits. Like, the crowd, you and I are not, but the crowd is very into them. So let them work with a veteran tag team, and let's see, can they keep up? But unfortunately, Mustache Mountain and Red Dragon and Sanity, who are probably the three teams that could really test them, are kind of all embroiled in this thing. So, like the other options are like Authors of Pain and Heavy Machinery, and I don't think either of those teams are also green. So, kind of problematic.
Yeah. The problem is that they're again, we're going right back to the green on green. Like, they got no one else to work with except for like the Gabriel and Urinal.
Yeah, the Ely brothers.
Yeah. Who apparently have a third member now. So that'll be interesting if they put that on TV.
Oh, okay. Who's the third member? Anyone notable or?
Nobody I've ever heard of. Brendan somebody?
I would need more than that, but it's not exactly ringing a bell. Yeah, this is kind of why I almost wish WWE would hire some kind of medium level tag teams and wrestlers just in general to let green people work on to kind of move on to the next step. What would be a good example? To borrow from Lucha Underground, obviously, he's in, but Ricky Reyes, be a good example. A guy who, if I'm being honest, there's no main card money in Ricky Reyes. But he's a competent hand, competent mechanic. You give him a decent paycheck, have him go work down at the Performance Center in NXT, and he can get people in shape. Not as a trainer, but as an opponent, as a guy to go in there and be because right now their opponents are, here's a couple of guys from the Performance Center who are really not ready for doing anything. Kick their ass.
Yeah. That's apparently the third member, Brendan Williams, who I'm unfamiliar with entirely.
Let me have a look-see here. Not looking familiar.
No, not at all. But, they look good as a triumvirate, so...
Yeah, we'll see. I could do some good things.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I think that's the big question in NXT right now is how do you transition green people to working with bigger acts without it seeming with them being ready, because we're having this with Velveteen Dream, Aleister Black, where it's this is think positive, maybe it's good, but it probably won't be good because this is Patrick Clark is going from really green dudes he's wrestling with to Aleister Black, who's kind of an eccentric styled wrestler. And it's I don't really see how this is going to be a good thing.
No, and hey, if Patrick Clark's a shit ton better than we've ever seen, and he's just not allowed to show it in the ring, which is not unusual for the wobbly be.
Well, C205 Live.
Yeah, so it could be that he's really good in the ring, and they will have fine matches. It's just that they can't, the chemistry as far as promos go did not work. And I think whoever gave Aleister Black the direction on his promo probably did it exactly wrong. So there's that. But yeah, I don't know. There's many ways that things can be done, and they should probably choose a different one.
Yep. And back to the main event, because we got sidetracked. Red Dragon, Mustache Mountain. This was really good. I liked it.
Yeah.
Also, Nigel McGuinness got an Adam Cole Bebe in there.
Indeed.
After Adam Cole super kicked Tyler Bate. So anyways, Red Dragon gets the win with Domination! And Drew McIntyre comes out to confront them because obviously they've ambushed McIntyre, and presumably Adam Cole's going to get involved in a feud with him over the title at some point. Or maybe they'll get involved with Roderick Strong being kind of their member to go after the title. So, some options. And the Undisputed, terrible name, back off.
Good song, though.
Good song, bad name, though. Back off, and they back off right into Sanity, who basically goes full face at this point and beats the piss out of them.
Scrotal elimination!
So, I enjoyed NXT for what it was. As far as the green on green matches are concerned, I seem to be able to get myself into a place where I've lowered my standards enough that I don't feel like I'm necessarily even lowering my standards. I'm being kind of realistic about how good the match is, so I can enjoy them. That doesn't, for the record, this does not mean that it's ready for TV, because just because I can do this doesn't mean that everyone can do this. So I enjoy Bianca Belair and Lacey Evans because I was prepared. I was prepared for god awful shit, basically.
I was not,
and I didn't get a steaming pile of shit. Therefore, I enjoyed it.
It was really clunky and really uncoordinated.
Oh, I don't, in no way do I deny that. It's just, I'm able to appreciate that. But actually, I don't expect an audience of thousands to do that.
I got one other quibble for that with that women's match is the fact that they're putting Lacey Evans over as this hardcore, badass, ass-kicking, take no name.
Only to job her out repetitively?
Former Marine. She was a fucking breacher. She was the first one into any hostile situation, and now she's a stripper who can't wrestle?
Well, it's also the fact that they keep jobbing her out, because I don't think I've seen her win.
No.
Well, she won her opening match in the Mae Young Classic. Like, she went out in the final 16 of the Mae Young Classic, and I think she has lost all of her televised matches, including one to Sonya Deville on NXT. So, kind of, she's probably not ready for TV unless you're going to put her in there with someone good, because she did have a pretty good match in the Mae Young Classic. Let me fill some time here while I look that up.
You kids like magic tricks? Watch this. Nothing on my sleeve. That's a lie. You can't see my sleeves. There's totally stuff up there.
Indeed.
Okay,
so Lacey Evans, where are you? Okay, so she had that match with Tayyara Conti, which I kind of enjoyed, but I enjoyed it in the same way as this. It was two really green girls going out there, and my expectations were really low, and they delivered on a level, and I see potential for the future. But her second match was against Toni Storm, and that was pretty good because Toni Storm, throughout the tournament, made every opponent she had look really good. Which hopefully we will see Toni Storm on NXT in the very near future, because she is honestly pretty much everything I think WWE wants in a diva. She's attractive, she's Australian, so she's got a sexy accent, and she's a really good wrestler. So
there you go.
Kind of ticks all the boxes. So hopefully we see her pretty damn soon, because I think she made Lacey Evans look really good. And she could probably make Bianca Belair, for example, look really good. Maybe she could work a miracle with Sonya Deville.
Whoa, listen. Maybe, ideal situation, they just have Sonya Deville wrestle the moronic twosome until all of them are just dead.
I wouldn't dispute this.
From the botches and the uncoordinated nonsense and the slow reaction time, someone's going home in a bag.
Probably. Although it seems like they're pushing Sonya Deville, so, fuck. That's all I got. That's all I got. Also, you would think that the Sonya Deville experiment would have ended when they signed Shayna Baszler.
Yeah.
And they're trying to get Ronda Rousey in there, because you've got the MMA chick. And don't get me wrong, Shayna Baszler has a long way to go in the ring as a pro wrestler. But if you look up, well, number one, I don't like the fact that they're not using Sonya Deville's actual name. Like, if you're trying to go with, she has a legitimate MMA background or whatever, it would probably help if I, for example, go to Tapology or SureDog Fight Finder and type in Sonya Deville. I actually find somebody, because that's not her name. It's Daria something Italian. You can find her on Tapology. She has no real background. Like, Shayna Baszler fought in the UFC. Didn't do well, but was to the dance. Has legitimate creds that that if you're a non-MMA fan and you want to look her up, you can find something of her and you can see that she's beaten girls who, for example, have Wikipedia pages.
It's always handy.
Whereas Sonya Deville doesn't even have a Wikipedia page, I don't think. She may, but if she does, it's because of pro wrestling, not because of MMA. And it's just she's built for this gimmick way more, and as much as Sonya Deville's actually been in wrestling longer than Shayna Baszler, she's actually worse than her.
Yeah, well, Shayna Baszler's an actual athlete with physical skills, so that will probably, that'll serve you a long way.
So how about we cut bait on Sonya Deville? If If you feel it's the gimmick that's keeping her from doing it, and it may be, I don't know, abandon the gimmick, send her back to the Performance Center, repackage her, see if something happens. Yeah. But this gimmick is not working, and is going to look a lot worse when Shayna Baszler shows up.
Well, maybe that's the plan, is to build her up a little bit, and then Shayna Baszler finally makes her debut and crushes the MMA chick, and then we have like the new female Goldberg or something, and then they can repackage her after that.
I guess that could work, but I don't want to see her injure some girl in the meantime, because I'm surprised that she didn't like injure Lacey Evans during their match, for example.
Yeah, that was fucking sloppy.
Which probably is, that's a testament to Lacey Evans being a legit tough girl. Probably. More than anything else. Yeah, it's just, please no more of her. Like I said, like her promo was okay. If you think her
totally unbelievable.
Yeah, but if you want to send her back, like if you want to repackage her, like if she happens to watch this at some point, I'm not saying that you are worthless. I'm saying the gimmick is absolutely worthless.
Yeah. She's just left behind by circumstances. And, I mean, maybe if she had a much longer time to develop this gimmick before they signed an actual, legit MMA fighter, it probably would have worked out fine. But you don't have that time anymore, and it's not going to work out.
Pretty much. So that was NXT for this week. One other thing about WWE, was reading. Now, this is not breaking news because this I read this like a week ago, so probably this has already been covered by a number of different podcasts. But the Jinder Mahal experiment, I think we can officially say, is a failure, because the idea. Keep in mind that Jinder Mahal was the first ever WWE champion to win the title with no merchandise. Mm-hmm. So the idea that they were going to push him anyways, and this wasn't about the India market, which WWE has at times tried to claim, is complete bullshit. So in India, the idea was we're going to sell more network subscriptions in India. Since Jinder Mahal has become champion, and we've talked about before the logic holes in this idea, subscriptions to the WWE network have actually gone down in India. So I think we can officially state that this is a complete failure. In non-WWE news, Global Force Wrestling is going to be doing shows in Ottawa for Bound for Glory, because
if they're not already sold to Ring of Honor by now.
I think despite the fact that the company keeps denying that they're up for sale, I think they absolutely are. I think it's ridiculous. This is the things. Like they're no longer going to be branded Global Force Wrestling, because apparently the merger with Jeff Jarrett's company was not complete when they sent Jeff Jarrett home. The thing is the official story is Jeff Jarrett got sent home somewhat by request, somewhat forced, but in general for his own good. One would think that if that was true, the merger with Global Force Wrestling would just continue. Because in theory, Jeff Jarrett is still kind of on board. They've talked about Jeff Jarrett will be back. I think the fact that you're not branding yourself Global Force Wrestling, that you're stopping the merger, that you're not having any relationship with the company, I think probably proves that everything you said about Jeff Jarrett's departure and theoretical return is complete bullshit.
There's also a conspiracy theory out there that they intentionally moved the shows to Canada so that Cornette would not go.
See, I doubt that, because I think from Cornette, now, okay, take everything Jim Cornette ever says with a grain of salt, because the man is a worker. The theory here is that Jim Cornette came back more as a favor to Jeff Jarrett than needing of money or a desire to be involved in the wrestling industry.
Well, it's not a theory. He's flat out said that. Although, again, take whatever with a grain of salt.
That's kind of what I'm getting at, is, okay, you can believe Cornette or you can not believe Cornette. But the story from Cornette is he came back as a favor to more or less as a favor to Jeff Jarrett, and he wanted to do a part-time schedule because he didn't want to be in Florida all the time. He didn't want to be traveling all the time. He, blah, blah, blah. So I don't think they have to move it to Ottawa to get rid of him. They could have just said, hey, Jim, I don't need you anymore. Peace.
Pretty much.
And that would have worked, because, like Cornette stayed with the company once when Jeff Jarrett left, and hated it and has ranted about it ever since. I don't think he would have stayed again if they just simply told him they didn't need him. If you brought your shows to Canada to get rid of Cornette, that's a dramatic overreaction of what was actually required.
And Mia will be attending all of the shows in Ottawa and live tweeting the entire experience.
I am going to actually look into it, because I've obviously never been to an Impact Wrestling / Global Force / TNA show. So, could be interesting if the price is decent and the timing is coincidental to a time where I can be in Ottawa.
I think you should totally go, and I need you to start a non-stop Bobby Roode chant. I need the Bobby Roode chant for the entirety of every single show.
Roger. I'll have to see if Pringalis will let me crash on his couch.
There you go. Did you hear about what they're doing with the old Amped footage?
No, do tell.
Basically, so they shot a bunch of stuff for Amped like 3 or 4 years ago or something like that. Or maybe it was not as long as that. Maybe it was two years ago. Anyway, Bobby Roode was on the show, and I guess the whole deal with Amped fell through, so they had all this stuff taped. They were supposed to do some sort of season of specials, and I guess they had all this stuff taped, and the deal fell through, so they just shelved all the footage. Well, they're putting the footage back out now, and they're essentially saying that on these wrestling shows that feature Bobby Roode, that Bobby Roode has left WWE and is now back with TNA.
Yeah, that's a load of bullshit right there.
Exactly.
Anyone who wants to willingly leave WWE for TNA at this point needs their head fucking examined.
Either that or you're Mike Kanellis.
Well, not even Mike Kanellis, I wouldn't do it. Like, I'd go to ROH or something.
Yeah, that's true.
I'm to be clear, I'm down with people leaving WWE because I think WWE is not using a lot. I'd say 90% of its talent correctly, but I wouldn't go to Impact.
Indeed.
The last person to go from WWE to Impact, I think, was James Storm willingly, and I think he's probably on a daily basis kicking himself in the head for that.
Yeah. And to finish off the show, I'm going to predict completely accurately in every outcome from the No Mercy pay-per-view. Are you ready?
Go for it.
Alright, I'm starting from the top. As listed on Wikipedia, matches 1 through 8. The preview show will be Apollo Crews with Titus O'Neil versus Elias Sampson, baby. Elias will be defeated because Titus O'Neil. Second match of the night apparently is going to be Brock Lesnar versus Braun Strowman. Thanks, Wikipedia.
That will be the main event, I assure you.
Brock Lesnar obviously will retain the title because he has to have it on hand so that he can lose it to Roman Reigns at WrestleMania. We've known about that 3 weeks before the previous WrestleMania, and nobody wants it to happen. So that's what's going to happen. And then we have third match of the night will be John Cena versus Roman Reigns. Roman Reigns obviously will win because John Cena's off to do some movies. So once again, Roman goes over way too early in a program that he really should not be going over in and has not had to struggle even a little bit.
In fairness, if you're going to do a John Cena Roman Reigns promo, I would put Roman Reigns over because John is going to do something in Hollywood. Yeah, so there's not really any point in putting him over.
Yeah, exactly. But that's what I said. But that still doesn't change the fact that Roman Reigns is going over with no effort, no problem, no worries. And we still won't cheer for him because he's had to put out no effort. And
it won't in any way change the public perception of him.
Exactly. Fourth match of the night will be Dean Ambrose and Seth Rollins, who I guess people are calling Death. Or are they saying that on TV, or is that just a fan thing?
It's just a fan thing, because I think the only name they have on TV appears to be like Shield Reunion, basically.
Oh, God. Why don't you just call the agents formerly known as Shield members, formerly known as whatever. Just make it clunkier, that'd be better. Versus The Bear, Cesaro, and Sheamus. You'll probably have Dean Ambrose and Seth Rollins go over, because it doesn't make any sense at all. So that's probably what's going to happen. They need to continue to test that friendship, which Cesaro and Sheamus have said in their promo, which everybody's pointing to the fact that Cesaro and Sheamus will now be breaking up because their friendship will be tested. Sort of like if you set up a chair, you got to go through it. And
That's more a table, but yeah.
Well, I prefer it when people go through chairs. It's much more spectacular. Then we have Finn Balor versus Bray Wyatt, and Finn Balor will go over because Bray Wyatt always loses. We have Neville versus Enzo. I'm actually predicting that Enzo will win. Because it's time for, like, we've seen Neville lose to a guy once, and it was awesome. And if you want a big ratings bump, and you want people to tune in for that 205 Live, you have Enzo show up with a lot of gold around his waist.
Also, I mean, just from a storyline standpoint, as much as losing to Akira Tozawa, it would break Neville a little bit. Yeah. He respected what Tozawa could do in the ring. He doesn't respect Enzo.
Exactly.
We could go full psychopath with this.
Exactly, and I want to see that. Seventh match of the night is going to be... Alexa Bliss is still the champion?
Yeah, they put the belt on Banks for a bit and then put it right back on Bliss.
Okie dokie, doesn't make any sense. WWE for the win. Alexa Bliss will be defending versus Sasha Banks, Bayley, Nia Jax, and Emma. Fatal 5-way, so this is not an elimination match, so first one to a fall wins.
Correct.
And anybody who eats the fall will, or anybody who pins anybody will win.
I don't know who's going to win that, but Emma's eating the pin.
Emma will be eating the pin. Well, actually, you know what? Bayley's eating the pin, and it'll probably be Nia Jax for the win. Because stupid heels will be stupid heels and then not team up against Nia Jax. And then your main event of the evening will be Jason Jordan getting a DQ win from The Miz because probably Curtis Axel and Bo Dallas beat him up because he gets to land like 3 suplexes and that you can't do that. So interference. Therefore, Jason Jordan will be victorious, yet not champion. Fuck finish, predictable fuck finish. WWE can't do anything except predictable fuck finishes.
Yeah, kind of. Although I could totally see Jordan getting himself disqualified in that match as well, because Jordan was pretty heated with The Miz this week on Raw during the opening segment. So I could see that somehow playing into like Jordan getting himself disqualified. Like one of those getting DQ'd for kicking too much ass.
Yeah, that's true. The only match of the night I'm kind of waffling on the result is probably Neville versus Enzo because WWE will... I mean, it's a little too early to give somebody you're trying to punish some gold. But, I mean, Vince sees ratings and Vince doesn't know anything other than numbers. So he'll just push him. I mean, he pushed... Like, as soon as Roman Reigns came back from his drug suspension, he pushed him to the moon, so it doesn't really matter.
Yeah, largely... I agree with everything you predicted there. I have Nia Jax pinning Emma.
They'll bury Bayley harder.
No. Emma's in for some punishment, I think, as well. It's kind of the thing. She's like the female equivalent to Enzo at this point, but not the ratings draw that Enzo is.
No, God.
They're still mad that the Emelina thing didn't work out.
Fuck. Get over it. Sort yourself out.
But she made some noise on Twitter, got some Twitter followers, and they're like, all right, we'll put you in the match to eat the pin.
Yeah.
That's my thought. So
that's very possible.
Yeah. I got everything else. I could see Strowman winning the title, actually, over Lesnar at this card.
Oh, they totally should. They need to put the title on him.
I mean, even by WWE logic. Because, like, I'm with you 100% that WrestleMania comes around as Brock Lesnar, Roman Reigns. But you do have enough time between then and now to maybe have Strowman have a title run, and then Lesnar wins it back from, like... Survivor Series or something. So I could see that.
Oh yeah. Yeah, no, that makes total complete sense. And they should probably have had Lesnar drop the title at SummerSlam to Joe. Because it makes all the sense in the world. But
well, Joe was Great Balls of Fire.
Whatever. Well, he wasn't he in the
SummerSlam was the 5-way. SummerSlam was the 5-way, which I would put the title on Strowman there.
I would only put this title on Strowman on a 1v1 match because you need to put him over as the guy who can.
Well, I still would have gone with someone else other than Joe because I think if you want Strowman's first title reign, it's got to be a big deal, and I don't think beating Joe would really be that. And I respect Samoa Joe. I just mean with the way WWE's handled it.
I wouldn't have Strowman in that program at all. I would still continue on with the Joe Lesnar feud because that was all of the great things in the world and everybody wanted it.
Except for the matches because they fucked them up.
Well, they only gave him 8 minutes to wrestle.
Whoa! I'm not blaming Joe or Lesnar for that. I'm blaming WWE squarely here.
if you're only going to give the guys like 8.5 minutes over the course of, what was it, 3 months? They had like one quick ass dumb match, and then he was involved in a schmozzle match.
Or you know what? If you're determined to get Roman Reigns over as a face, I could have seen Joe winning the belt at SummerSlam, and then feuding with Roman Reigns over the whole, the Samoan thing, where like Joe's the Samoan, non-Samoan.
Yeah,
work that into a feud.
Joe beat the absolute shit out of him for like 6 months straight.
And then maybe when Roman Reigns beats Joe, he's finally gone through some shit. He's finally done the babyface journey. And maybe we like him. I'm not going to guarantee it, but maybe there's a little bit of actual pop for him.
Maybe.
But yeah, instead Reigns is going to go over John Cena and Strowman versus Lesnar for the title.
Yeah.
So I'm going to make it interesting, just so we have some differences. I will say that they put the belt on Strowman. You've got Lesnar. Everything else we agree with.
Yeah.
Except you think Bayley's going to eat the pit. I think Emma's going to eat the pit.
Oh, for sure. I mean, they have yet to begin to bury Bayley. I mean, shit, she hasn't. She doesn't have a vest with her own handprint on the back yet. Jesus.
Yeah. So, there we go. That's the interesting for the next podcast. Is one of us will have emerged victorious in a. I don't think we're even really betting anything, but bragging rights on who got the main event right.
Yeah.
All right, so that's all for this week. We'll talk to you next week, or we got some Lucha Underground stuff coming up.
Yeah, I think we need to watch 2 episodes of that.
Yep, we'll be doing that tomorrow, I think.
We also have the new, Destruction in Hiroshima?
Yep.
For New Japan. That's we're kind of. I'm keeping my eye out. I kind of dropped the ball. We kind of missed the New Japan, which happened back on the 17th. But we'll watch that, and I think we'll just cover the New Japan English translations because we really like the commentators. That's basically it.
That is the best commentary team right now in professional wrestling.
You are correct.
Although, I did prefer Kelly and Carino.
Yeah, but the virus is really growing on me.
The virus is good. No, the virus is good. Like, if seriously, like, if we go, like, for the last, even, like, decade, like, Virus and Kelly's top 5.
Yeah.
So, like, that's not a problem. I'm just saying, Carino and Kelly was superior.
Yeah.
Winnipeg Mafia for life.
For reals.
So that's all. We'll catch you next time, and, WWE is not very good right now.
Nope. But, one last question. You like fishing in Quebec?
I do like fishing in Quebec.
Fair enough.
Everybody loves fishing in Quebec.
I hate fishing in Quebec.
That's because you're dairy.